What's up, everybody? Thank y'all for tuning in tonight on our Facebook Live page. Show number 77 is Showtime. The reason why it being is because there's a lot of teams that is going to playoffs. We have LeBron James making his Lakers debut, which is AKA, the Lake Show and stuff like that. All the other good stuff. So we're going to talk about that today. As you see here, we got Coach Fry beside us. He's in the studio, keeping it real, live in the studio. So we're going to talk about what's on his mind, too, towards the show end. And also, he'll talk, I'm pretty sure, about a lot of stuff that
we
we'll
have
have.
a hard time keeping me to the end.
Then you're not going to stay inside the whole time. All right, let's get started. Show number 77. Good evening, everybody. Thank y'all for tuning in tonight on our podcast on iHeartRadio, on Spotify, on iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Play, and all the other good stuff that you listen to us right now. Make sure you share us and all that good stuff. On the table today, we have Wabi.
Glad to be back on the Walk-Ons.
And I got myself here. And then special guest to the show. And, well, not to the show. He is a regular guest to our show.
Oh, keeping it real.
Just got him live and in person this time.
Live and in person. Coach Fry is in the building, everybody. Coach Fry.
It's live. It's sports time. It's politics time. It's
all kinds of stuff.
And I look good, too.
If y'all on Facebook Live, you can see that he's very interested in seeing himself on TV right now. So.
But I like this, man. I grew my hair.
Oh,
me too.
I'm the only guy with hair on the set. That's something. As you see, there's a lot of guys missed today. There's a lot of people who's on other things going on right now, so they'll be back next week. Make sure you share us on our social media on Facebook and on Twitter at the Walk-Ons Radio Show, and visit our website at freethinkersradio.com. And if you got any comments or questions throughout the night, make sure you send those in. We'll be monitoring those. So if you got any questions about different topics we talk about, or any kind of questions you got for us or for Coach Fry, go ahead and send those in, and we promise we will answer those for you. Let's go ahead and get started with pick 6. Number 1 on our list, LeBron James. He's in a Lakers jersey for once, and I must admit, it was kind of weird to see him with a Lakers jersey.
Yeah.
But only scored 9 points, something to, get used to the team. And
only played about 15 minutes. So.
Only played about 15 minutes, but that's enough to show the fans, like, hey, I'm here.
Yeah.
I will get used to my teammates and such forth. What do you think about LeBron James and his debut this past week?
And like I said, they're breaking him in slowly. He's obviously a great player, but hopefully he can get the Lakers going. I think they need some more help to be a big-time contender this first year, but we'll see how things work out for him. I'm excited to see how it goes.
Coach Wright, what do you think?
Well, he's filming some movies, and he's going to, in between halftime, he's going to do some commercials. And
he's in retirement mode.
So right now he's in a mode where he's got to get an after basketball career in L.A., and then he'll be ready. He'll have enough movie stuff on, and then he'll get started by the time we get to playoff time.
You think he could go far into the playoffs?
No, he's going to get him in the playoffs.
Oh. That's the way to say it.
Yeah.
No, he'll get him in the playoffs.
Whenever he meets Golden State, that'll be an exit time. But.
It's going to be pretty loaded in the West side. You got Spurs. Well, not the Spurs. I take it back. The Rockets, the Warriors. I might even throw in the Blazers. Damian Lillard, he's still there.
Yeah.
Might get some pieces here and there to, try to compete in the first and second round. But, of course, that's how far they can really go. So, we'll see what the Lakers can do. They do got ways on Rondo.
Yeah.
They got some other pieces that can help them out, too. So. It will be effective. Lonzo Ball, he's there, but he's hurt still.
Yeah.
So
they need some more help to be a serious contender, but LeBron will make them exciting to watch.
LeBron's gonna make it really exciting, and don't overlook the guy. He find a way to beat people. He beat Boston last year, and that right there is Boston the second best NBA basketball team last year, and this year he's on the other side of the bracket. He could get them to be the 4th best team in the NBA.
Sounds good. Baseball playoffs is not here. They call it the Oktoberfest for them. But there's some good teams in there. The Braves, my Braves is in there. So, we'll see how far they can go. They won their division not too long ago. The Yankees,
it's all gravy for the Braves. They're playing with house money, so nothing to lose. Go out there and have fun.
Second year in their new stadium.
Yeah.
The Yankees are in there. They're playing the wild card game. There's some pretty good matchups for this year playoffs for the MLB. What y'all think about this year's playoffs for a lot of teams that's out there? Boston's in there too.
Oh, yeah.
What y'all think about that?
Yeah, LA and LA is going to be tough to beat. So we'll see how it shakes out.
we're gonna have to agree. LA's it's gonna be tough to beat. Boston is good. There's not a Cleveland in here. There's not a dark horse. That's somebody that just gotten in there for the first time in 25 years or something. The Cubs will be playing. The Rockies playing. Those are kind of not dark horses to get to World Series.
Yeah, last year's opponents, the Cubs and the Indians. Was that the Cubs and Indians, right? They are in the wild card this year, except for the Indians, of course. But
Cubs won it a couple years ago, about 3 years ago.
Yeah, so we'll see how it pans out for this year's postseason because I'm a Braves guy, so hopefully they can go far and go to the World Series. I might buy some tickets to go over there, huh?
Oh yeah.
Will you go with me, Bobby?
Sure.
Are you sure?
Check
You
out
pay for me?
I didn't say pay for it. You said go with it. Make that distinction now.
Next on the list, I'm sure y'all heard about Kanye West and his comments about the 13th Amendment and such forth. So he's been in the news lately and such forth about his comments about those. He also added in that he wants, Colin Kaepernick, him, and Trump to meet at the White House soon. And he believes that if they could do that, they can make some things happen and make some progress. A lot of people are saying that, hey, it could work. And some people say, hey, don't do that. All Trump's going to do is just listen and ignore. What are y'all thoughts about that one?
Well, anytime you have a honest dialogue, a chance to sit down at the table, I think, they couldn't hurt, but, I think, they just, opposite ends of the table, Trump is thinking anybody takes a knee is just disrespecting the flag. Meanwhile, the people taking a knee are saying, this is a peaceful protest. I have, this is a social issue that I'm trying to get to the forefront. So maybe if they sit down and talk about it, they could understand each other a little better. I don't know.
I don't believe that. That's a wise idea. I'm kind of, it's a political issue and probably needs to stay on the front. And so if they resolve it, then it'll go to the back. So right now, I think everybody needs to stay where they are. And Kanye, did he play football and get hit or something?
He got into a car accident. That's why he talk about his jaw.
Did he go to a war?
No, he didn't do that either.
PSD or the music too loud?
I'll take the music too loud. The music might have been just a little too loud for him.
Music's too loud for him, boy.
He tried to make some valid points, which he can definitely go against.
I haven't heard valid. I just heard some woofing. So, but hey, look, the young man got to try. He stays. You know what? If you're getting attention, any attention is better than no attention. It keeps you in the front, and so in turn, it gets some people that like him that didn't like him, and some people that liked him ain't gonna never like him again. So he's got a 50-50. That's where he is right now. He just lost 50 and he picked up 50.
Well, some people say that, he does this stuff to promote maybe a next song that's coming out, maybe next album that's coming out, just get some publicity and stuff like that. But when you really hear what he talks about and really what his thoughts is and see his Instagram posts and Facebook posts,
he got hit.
Then you can really see, okay, he is actually trying to make some, trying to say something.
Last Saturday. We mistaken him.
There's some other serious news out here. As we, we're in an era where there's stuff being talked about at the Supreme Court, and this guy, did some stuff when he was in high school, and is trying to admit to his faults and stuff like that. In the NFL ranks, LaShawn McCoy, his ex-girlfriend, says that he abused her and stuff like that. And this is just another addition to a long list of allegations against LaShawn McCoy. What do y'all think about his career now as more allegations not coming against him?
I just hope they investigate thoroughly and get justices served, whatever the justice is. I have no idea, but hopefully they get to the bottom of it and know exactly what happened. And if he did something wrong, he needs to face the consequences. If not, he needs to not have to worry about it.
Coach Wright?
Maybe a countersuit against her. I don't know.
I just think right now we're in a period where we need some real education about domestic violence and abuse and verbal abuse and aggravated assault. What constitutes aggravated assault? Because there's so many things that happened prior to this period that were aggravated assault, and there were sexual assault, and there was abuse, verbal and physical abuse. I just hope that we can educate the next generation of young men and young women to understand that the things about that if you were intoxicated or drinking and you're in an environment that no means no, and if you said yes while you were drunk, that still constitutes taking advantage of someone. So I think we got to do a little bit. Our commercials have got to be better, such that we don't continue to develop a culture that people are injured and hurt by. And that's men and women, because lots of people do things that they don't understand that at that period in time was violating the other person. And so I'm glad we're at this period so we can heal some people, but healing people but still injuring other people is not good until we sit down and start saying what is wrong and get people to understand that. So I'm at that mood right now that we got to go up forth and heal some things, fix some stuff, educate some people.
Yeah, totally agree with that. Especially in the NFL too. Going back to the sports realm, there's a lot of guys out there that is accused of different stuff. So, and I won't say just the NFL solely. It's primarily, majority of the issues do come from the NFL ranks. But what is the NFL doing to make sure that their brand and their athletes is I guess not trained, but because they are adults, but kind of taught or nurtured to say, hey, it's not the right thing to do. If you do this again, we're going to make sure some punishments is handed down. And I think that the NFL's not doing as much as they need to make sure these things are well taken care of, especially for the athletes. So,
well, athletes go through a lot of things that they get blamed because they're seen on TV. But powerful men and people looking for a way to get recognition has always existed from the beginning of mankind. If you got a lot of money, there's people want to get the money, and somebody wants to get employed, be it a male or female. And so that means you can easily make yourself a prey, and you can also be a person that prays. And so those are things that we have to get to understanding. We've had people standing by the locker room, and just to get the attention of the guy coming out of the locker room. And then that ends up putting persons feeling like, I can exploit people that are standing by the locker room. And that kind of thing, we've got to undo that so that guys don't carry that after they leave pros or leave college, that I can exploit a person. And the person's got to quit getting themselves in vulnerable positions.
Yeah, because the word is going to get back to the wife or the significant other, because they've got other girlfriends there that are watching what's going on.
Yeah.
Not just that, but social media too.
Oh, yeah.
If somebody sees something out the blue, they going to say, hey, this is what I saw at this restaurant.
Yeah, 20, 25 years ago, 30 years ago, wasn't all this. Who's this with A-Rod? That's not his wife.
Yeah. But you got people that are executives and CEOs that got people sitting in Madison Avenue and in places that they shouldn't be, being in hotels. This is not just athletes.
And I'm sure there's people in there now, not just sports, but also in the Supreme Court or in the Senate or Congress that has done maybe not worse or worse than that.
The politicians go off to Washington. They're away from their family. So
and
if you're not strong, something can happen.
Yeah, and you got people that exist as just lawyers or people who are financial persons that work at banks that use the money there to go for a weekend vacation, or when you're having clinics or when you're having conferences. This is a culture that exists where people have taken advantage of the weaker person. And that's something that I think this attention that people are getting now, it's not just to be careful as an athlete. It's a school teacher, a principal, or anyone that's exploiting someone because they have power over them.
True. When we come back, we're going to talk about the South Carolina Gamecocks. It's nothing new here on the show. They lost again to Kentucky. So we're going to talk about that. And does Jake Bentley deserve the starting role?
Why do we go with that? They got beat again.
They got beat again 5 times in a row.
5 in a row for Kentucky. I guess that's what
y'all should be used to that, though, right? Yeah. We'll be back. Stay tuned.
That's from a Clemson guy. They got beat 5 times in a row.
Well, I was just taking off of what he said when he said that many times in a row. So.
I like that.
Everybody that's on Facebook Live, thank you for tuning in tonight. Make sure you send your comments and your questions, and we promise we will answer those. Seeing, sir, how much of an honest dialogue can ye have now? You know what? We're just going to let him talk. That's all we're going to do. Chris, he's watching the show tonight. He's saying sports people don't care. They care about wins and dollars, which is definitely true.
Hello, everyone.
That's how you're making money for the brand. Nothing else matters, huh? Welcome back to the show, everybody. Thank y'all for tuning in tonight. Make sure you share us on our social media on Facebook and on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, all that good stuff. And make sure you find us on our website at freethinkersradio.com. And if you got any questions or comments tonight, make sure you send those in. We are definitely monitoring those. And make sure you send your questions about different topics, about anything that we talk about, anything that's on your mind, or you got a question for Coach Fry. He's in the studio today. We're keeping it real live in the studio.
Keeping it real.
So we will definitely talk to him tonight. We'll talk about his upcoming track season, and then he also will have some stuff that's on his mind at the end of the show. So make sure you stay tuned for that. This Friday, we'll be at River Bluff as the Dutch Silver Foxes take on the River Bluff Gators. That's on Friday night on high school game day.
That's the 21st ranked team in the country, the Dutch Fork Silver Foxes, and they put it on the Chapin Eagles by a final count of 70-7 this past Friday.
Dutch Fork knows how to score some
Dutch
points.
Fork is rolling, but River Bluff undefeated as well, having a really good season. So
I
maybe
don't
they'll
think
put up a little bit of resistance against Dutch Fork. We'll see.
I don't think nobody expected River Bluff to be undefeated this hard.
No, they were 2-8 or so last year. So off to a big 5-0 start. So
yeah, Coach Harding
much improved.
Coach Harding's doing some good things over there in the Gator country. We will be there.
Our third trip over there. Thanks for the hospitality, River Bluff.
They got plenty of room over there, so believe me, we love to be going over there. So make sure you tune in this Friday on high school game day. Broadcast starts at 7:15. Kickoff starts at 7:30, so make sure you tune in for that. Let's go ahead and get started with our first topic. Over the weekend, college football continues, and unfortunately, it did continue here in Columbia. We lost to Kentucky in Kentucky. The score 24-10. I knew it was over when we fumbled in the 5-yard line in their territory. When I saw that happen, I said, you know what, we lost. I was actually in Charlotte, North Carolina at Topgolf, and I was watching the game, and you could hear there were some Gamecock fans there too. And
Tiger Woods didn't play good this week.
Nobody will play good at Ryder Cup.
Tiger
That's
Woods
definitely
had a bad one.
I know you don't want to talk about Coach Fry, but we have to talk about it. The moans at the Topgolf area, you can hear like, okay, everybody just starts changing and stuff like that.
Now, every football game that's played away from home, there's 10 points that you can give up to start with. So we lost a football game by 4 points because basically when you go into somebody else's house, their crowd is 10 points better than you are. And that's true. That's just about anybody you're going to play.
Yeah,
so
when they went to Vanderbilt, it was more of a neutral crowd. But this was definitely a home field advantage for Kentucky. They're excited about their team. They're off to a pretty good start.
Going to Vanderbilt is like
undefeated.
Going to a practice stadium for the SEC. When Alabama went there was nothing but Alabama fans in that stadium. And it was packed from row to row, from section to section when Alabama came there. It's for me, for Jake Bentley, I was going to go ahead and go straight to the point. And I thought about this too when the game was going on. He is not a big game QB. And it was proven when Georgia came to town, and it was proven when he went to Kentucky. And it was proven last year also when Clemson, Georgia again last year. There's plenty of games where, Jake Bentley had the opportunity to show that he could actually do big things against big-time opponents. And he had clearly a good shot versus Kentucky. We do have better athletes than Kentucky, but yes, you said that it was on the road. At the same time, you have all the athletes this year to make these things happen.
I had a question. Where did Tennessee play Georgia?
I can say that right
Georgia,
now.
They played them. No, they played them in Knoxville.
Oh, really? 38-12.
Yeah, but for the first half, it looked like a football game.
Okay.
And so if you just keep going around the leagues or around the country, I've been in college athletics a long time. And when you take 18 to 22-year-olds and you take them on the road, it's you can't call a guy a loser on the road. And I know the Georgia quarterback is a good football player, and he's got one of the best teams in the country. And I know that Clemson played down at Texas A&M, and it was a tough football game down at Texas A&M. So fans got to be aware that just because they have a team that has a tough time on the road with young kids, they drop the ball. The wideouts don't hear the check off, and they come inside. They come inside on a slant when they're not supposed to be running a slant. Post corners, and you end up with a quarterback taking the blame for what some of the guys have done. Coaches can't call that out on and tell everybody that it was more than the quarterback making a mistake. But I'm just going to tell you, being in the business, I've seen some great ones on the road that haven't won football games.
Yeah. Well, this is coming up. Next 2 games are at home. That's opportunity is there. Missouri and then Texas A&M. Thing is, if Bentley's not 100%, do we see him this week, or do they try to mix it up and do something else? I think they're saying he's been at practice, but those last couple passes, he couldn't put any pressure on that leg. Looked pretty bad, so I don't know. Yep. If there's an opportunity this week, maybe DeCarrion and Joyner steps in there. But he could still keep his red shirt, because you now can play up to 4 games and keep your red shirt. So maybe they rest Bentley this week just to see, because if you can get by this week without him, he gets another week off before the Texas A&M game, because they have a bye week on the 13th.
Are you sure that's the way that rule reads?
Yeah.
If you have 4 games, but the 4 games before you play the 5th?
No, it's 4 at any time starting this year.
So at the you could play right before you could play the 10th game of the season.
Yeah.
I hadn't studied it that hard, but I hope you look that up.
Yeah,
I'm not
definitely
certain you could play after that first half. Of the
season. It's a whole new world this year with the red shirt rule, as Kelly Bryant was well aware.
He took that to full advantage. Like, okay, y'all don't want to play me, I'm out of here. I hear what you're saying, Coach Fry, and seeing Bentley play for the last 2 years, especially in big games, I just did not feel that confidence. I think the only game that I can say that he actually showed up and showed out was the Tennessee game. And that was his first year starting.
Played
big, almost 3 years
It
ago.
was great against Michigan last year.
He was great against Michigan after the first
second half.
Second half.
He was a great football player.
Yeah.
The kid is a great player. He's taking on a lot of responsibilities. And hey, look, on the road we've had a problem, and against a top 3 team at home we had a problem. But school is out. We're gonna play at home, and let's judge it after we play 2 at-home games if we get a shot.
If he doesn't show out these 2 games coming up, which is against pretty much reliable defenses that we can score on, especially Tennessee after the bye week, he can make all the adjustments.
I think it's Texas A&M after the bye week.
Texas A&M, then Tennessee.
Yeah,
it's like you got a resume to be proven right now, and if you can't do the job, then of course we're gonna be looking around to see who else that can replace. And it's been going on ever since Connor Shaw left. Actually, we've been looking all around to see, okay, who could be the next person coming up, who can make this team go over the hill and actually score, more points. Not saying that he's a bad player.
Yeah.
It's just that he makes bad decisions.
He's not a bad player.
Dylan Thompson was good offense. They just didn't have enough defense to help him out.
Yeah.
I think Dylan, he had a pretty good year passing the ball.
Yeah.
But then, after that, it's been hit or miss.
Yeah, it's just the bad decisions and the inconsistencies has kind of the struggle that a lot of people is talking about. And I do hear the hummings of, hey, let's try to get Kelly Bryant here, and, or let's start Joyner and stuff like that. First of all, even though Kelly Bryant, he does make some good plays here, he would not fit the offense here at Carolina. I don't think so.
Well, I mean, you got Chad Morris out there at Arkansas who recruited him and runs the exact same offense. Auburn, probably losing their quarterback, so he could move into Auburn and run the same type of offense. So there's probably some offenses that would be more suited for him.
I heard Auburn too.
Yeah.
Gus. So, we'll see what happens for Kelly Bryant. But I know for us right now, we got to make some changes and make some changes now. If it requires more team leadership.
I don't think changes. I think we got great coaches, and that they'll be patient and they will be smart about the decision. You can have people yelling and screaming that ain't never been in the huddle, and they don't know who made what mistake, and they don't understand who's injured and who had to come and not play what tackle, and which they had to make adjustments to. So I really, coaches don't panic because of losses. Coaches, they stick to the plan, and they stick to a program, and they got a set program on what they want to do.
Cool. We'll be back at this commercial break. Stay tuned.
This is iHeartRadio.
Cool.
And I really think Clemson did a good job back when they were in some tough situations. That and I'm Dabo did not abandon and whenever he was losing 5 times to Carolina. He had a plan. He stayed in his plan. He worked his plan. He was loyal to his players, and he recruited good.
Kept recruiting. That's the main thing.
And that's what you do. But if you start jumping ship on your players, the word will get out to the high school coaches.
Yeah.
You better be loyal.
Yeah. Like Texas A&M coach. Saw that?
Yes, sir.
Grabbing his face
That
mask.
right there.
Yeah.
He can be very passionate, but
Hey, you better have a plan. You better stick to the plan.
yep. Welcome back to the show, everybody. Make sure you share us on our podcast on iTunes and iHeartRadio and Spotify, SoundCloud, and Google Play. And find us on our website at freethinkersradio.com and on social media on Facebook and on Twitter at the Walk-Ons Radio. If you got any comments or questions throughout the night, make sure you send those in. We'll promise we'll answer those. And if you got any questions for any kind of topics or anything for us and Coach Fry, make sure you send those in right now. Once again, make sure you tune in on this Friday from River Bluff High School on High School Game Day as the Dust Sports Center Foxes take on the River Bluff Gators. We're looking forward for that matchup as like Wappy said, they always treat us well. We'll come over there and we're going to be over there once again this week. So make sure you tune in this Friday at 7:15 for the pregame show and then follow us for kickoff of Dust Fork and River Bluff starting at 7:30. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about Kelly Bryant. As you know, last week before the show or after the show on Tuesday, he made the decision to transfer.
We knew he missed practice. Cole Qualkenbush gave us that
he missed
update.
practice. And we did talk about him possibly transferring. And then the next day, he transfers.
Right.
So the transfer rule, he can leave after 4 games, register and stuff for it. He'll be a graduate transfer. So wherever he goes, he can play immediately.
Right.
So is this a good thing for him to do? As he said that he wanted to play and start, and he believed that he deserved to start over Trevor.
Yeah.
But
That's his
smart
opinion.
decision, bad decision for him.
Well, I mean, if you want to play, that's probably his best decision because he had got beaten out, but he was still going to play at Clemson. But I mean, he's 22. He made an emotional decision. His ego was hurt. He wanted to start. He thought he could be the man the rest of the year. He's the senior, but I just think that I support Dabo. He has all the facts in front of him. He sees them every day at practice, and he made the decision that Trevor was moved ahead of him a little bit. You look at the drives. Trevor was averaging 4 points every time he took over a drive. Kelly Bryant was only averaging less than 2.5 points every time he took over a drive. So, that's the thing is moving the ball, scoring points, and Trevor was doing a little better job. So they decided to make the move.
A little better, a lot better.
Yeah,
Hey,
Trevor's a beast.
16-2, guys.
yeah, and I like Kelly, and I wish him well. But at the same time, I trust Dabo. You look at Dabo's track record. I mean, he took over a program that had not won a conference championship in 17 years when he took it over. All right. He's been there 10 years. He's won 4 conference championships and a national championship. So if you're a Clemson fan, you just got to trust Dabo at this point. He's brought your program a national championship, and he made the same move a few years ago when he benched Cole Stout in favor of Deshaun Watson. We all know how that worked out. So, you just got to trust your coaches. At the same time, it's disappointing that Kelly won't be there because he's better at running that zone read, and he can makes Clemson better when he's in there. But he made his decision, and he'll get to go somewhere, and he'll probably start that the whole year wherever he goes. And he's a good football player. He'll probably start 75% of teams in the country. He'd start for. He's a good player.
I'm sure Trevor is better than Kelly. The accuracy is proven. He can get the ball to receivers. They score a lot more touchdowns when he's into the game. Do you think Dabo's heart sank when Trevor got hurt?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. And with Kelly leaving, I'm sure his heart sank, and it caught him by surprise. I'm sure he thought Kelly would just rotate in there. But at the same time, Trevor has outperformed him, and that's what the decision they came up with. And but hey, it worked out for the Tigers. They had to hang on. They were down to their guy who was their third string quarterback at the beginning of the week, right? Chase Bryce, and he was able to pull them out. And fourth quarter, down 23-13, they get to 2 fourth quarter touchdowns. So they played with a lot of heart, leaned on the running game a lot. Chase Bryce hit the big 4th and 6 to T. Higgins, 20-yard play to keep the drive alive. So that's going to look back, and if they can continue to roll, they'll look back on that play, and that's be one of the plays of the year.
Yeah. What do you think about this, Coach Fry?
Hey, look, I'm a coach. I'm a coach, and I'm a coach's guy. And when coaches make decisions, I support coaches because they know more about the situation than fans. And so, I mean, I think Coach Dabo, I mean, he's a proven guy. And so I'm not going to go against a guy that's won and a guy that had success graduating his kids. And I don't see a lot of things to say about you. You got to make tough decisions. And sometimes they're not popular decisions. Even with the kid and the kid's family, you still got to stick with decisions. I've made decisions that lots of people didn't agree with, but I had to ask myself some questions. Well, am I consistent?
Yeah. You want your 4 fastest guys on the relay, or you want the 3 fastest plus the senior guy that was doing it last year that's a second slower than the freshman?
Good point.
Well, I don't. Sometimes it's not that. I want the guy that can handle the stick the best.
Right, that's true.
It all kinds of variables come in. Who's going to do it under pressure? I've had kids that were faster than other kids, but when they were in the big moment in the SEC versus the SEC, I wasn't sure that person can do it. They can do it at home. They can do it in front of their crowd. They can do. They run really fast against some of the people in the state of South Carolina. They ran good at their state meet. But I got this guy, and every year he didn't have the best time, but he wins in a big meet. I've had a kid before that held a school record, but there's a guy that every time they lined up head up, that guy would beat him.
Wow.
So who do I go with? The fastest guy or the guy that when it's on the line that wins the championships? So those are tough decisions. Then you go, well, I'm gonna go with the developer. I can teach that guy to win. Sometimes you can't teach a guy how to win in a big game and stuff. So you got to see that prove its way out. And I don't know how much time you got. That's sometimes not on a practice field. It's not on it's not on who can throw it. It's just who can throw it when.
Right. True. Ice water in the veins, right?
Yeah.
You gotta have it.
Let's go to the schedule for this week. As promised, we go to, Coach Fry, we promised him that was going to go through the schedule. So we're going to go do some teams in the college football ranks and NFL ranks. Predictions for this coming college football weekend and NFL weekend. Number 1, we have Alabama versus Arkansas at Arkansas. That's a 12 p.m. matchup.
No contest.
We got number 10, Texas versus number 7, Oklahoma. And that's always a pretty good battle. What y'all think about that one?
That's going to be, hey, man, that's a river battle, ain't it?
Yeah, Red River rivalry.
That right there, son, you can throw that away. That might be that's a Clemson, Carolina. That's a Chapel Hill Duke basketball rivalry. I mean, that puts
Texas State Fair right there in Dallas.
Well, son, this is something. Let me tell you what.
But Kyler Murray playing very well, except for the Army game where they Army held the ball for 45 minutes of the game and they couldn't get the ball too much. But I kind of lean Oklahoma just because they're playing a little better right now. But Texas has been playing well of late.
No, I'm totally Oklahoma.
Oklahoma. I'm going for Oklahoma too. LSU at Florida. That's a 3:30 p.m. matchup on CBS. Thoughts about that one?
Double figures LSU.
LSU. I'll go for LSU on that one, Robbie.
Yeah, LSU, but maybe closer than double figures. I think it'll be maybe a 1-score game.
We have Kentucky at Texas A&M. Kentucky is number 13 in the rankings.
Where they play?
They play at Texas A&M.
Should be a good one.
That's going to be a good one.
That would be definitely a good one.
I'll go with A&M.
Yeah, maybe. Yep, I'll go A&M at home.
You know what? I will definitely go because they beat us. We'll go for Kentucky. I think Kentucky do got the athletes to beat Texas A&M. Notre Dame at Virginia Tech. That's an 8 p.m. matchup on ABC. Thoughts on that one?
At Virginia Tech?
At Virginia Tech. It's home on the sand, man.
Field goal ball game.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, Virginia Tech lost at Old Dominion, but they picked it up and went down and won at Duke this past week. So maybe they've They had that one odd loss before. They lost to James Madison one year and came back and won the ACC. So sometimes they get that bad
I'm going with the
loss
Irish.
out of there. Yeah.
I'm going with the Irish.
Yeah. Notre Dame has been rolling lately. I think that's the safe pick. Yeah.
One NFL pick, Indianapolis at New England. That's a Thursday matchup at New England. And then we got Dallas at Houston.
New England will roll.
New England wins.
And then my Panthers, they got the Giants at home, 1 p.m. You already know who I'm going for that.
The Panthers going to kill them.
Yeah, I can't wait for that one. We'll come back. We'll talk to Coach Fry about his upcoming track season, so stay tuned right here on the Walk-Ons.
You've made iHeartRadio the fastest growing music app in the U.S. Why? Because we connect you to all of your favorite music and radio stations in one free app. And this fall, prepare to take control of how you listen to the
Everybody that's on Facebook Live, thank y'all for tuning in tonight. Make sure you send your comments and your questions throughout the night. We're monitoring those and answering those for you. And make sure you visit our website at freethinkersradio.com and visit our social media pages on Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram, all that good stuff. So make sure you send those in. If you want to advertise with us, make sure you email us at thewalkonsradio@gmail.com. And we promise you we will take care and treat you well. Treat you well, and that's all.
Treat you well.
Who's 9-3, David?
That's Carolina, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Who's David Pendergrass?
David, he's in the
tall
back.
guy over here.
Oh, Mike.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. Once again, visit our website at freethinkersradio.com. Visit our social media pages at the Walk-Ons Radio on Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram. And then also, if you got any comments or questions, send those in as we'll be answering those for you. And on this Friday, once again, make sure you tune into High School Game Day on Spreaker as we'll be at River Bluff High School as Dustford and Silver Foxes take on the undefeated and surprising team in high school football thus far this year, the River Bluff Gators. Kickoff will be at 7:30. Pregame starts at 7:15, so make sure you tune in on Friday night as Dustford Silver Foxes take on the River Bluff Gators. Coach Fry, once again, is in the building. We would like to thank him for coming in tonight for keeping it real live in the studio. So he'll be doing that at the end of the show. But we're going to talk to him a little bit about his upcoming track season, the people that he got coming out this year, and some good scenes possibly for the track team this year.
Hey, man, I'm telling you what. We lucked out and we beat some of the best schools in the country this year on signing. I feel like the number one kid in the country. He ran 44-54 in the 400 meters last year. His name is Quincy Hall, and he's an intermediate hurdler as a Pan American champion. And he's just giving a different vibe to our kids. I mean, he's just making practice better. And so that's the big news. And then
so his work ethic probably rubbing off on his teammates.
He just tells people, "Let's go." We don't have people whining and not hitting the line, getting on the line right away. But if it's 2 minutes, it's 2 minutes. You're on the line. And when your number one guy gets on the line, number 5, he doesn't complain. And it's happening. It's contagious to our girls. We hired a new coach, a sprint coach, to help me out, and he came from Colorado. And I like him. He's had 16 years of coaching. He writes his own programs and stuff. All I do is kind of look over things. I don't have to second guess or anything. He's had a lot of success. He's had an Olympian with it. So I'm excited about that. When you bring new people, new things, a little bit of energy comes, but it's not just the energy of him. He's a 40-year-old guy. And Kareem. And that's exciting.
Let me ask you this, Coach. You do any yoga, Pilates, something to keep those hamstrings stretched out, or a lot of stretching?
Well, those are things that we do anyway. Our big thing is plyometrics and jumps. I mean, you got to work on explosion. Stretching is something you do. You got massage therapists. I mean, really, at Carolina, we about got all the things you need. We got 3 massage therapists. We got
I might need one.
we got a trainer, and he's got 3 GAs. Okay. I got 4 volunteer assistant coaches, 3 graduate assistants, and 5 full-time coaches.
That's good.
And we got a lot of history together. So it's wonderful. I really think we got a shot. We got a kid that we moved from 154 in the 800 meters to 146 since he's been there. I got a 26-foot long jumper that last year was second in France for the French team, and so when we look around, we start looking, and we got a mid-year kid coming in that we feel real strong about. That's run fast hurdles. I got a hurdle that was 6th in the country. So we keep everybody healthy. We think we're a top 5 team.
Awesome.
Do you usually there's a lot of good track athletes here in South Carolina? So do you usually pursue track athletes here in South Carolina, or do they mostly come from out of state or from different areas around the world? Did they usually find out? Because South Carolina is one of the top track teams that people know of because of you, Coach Wise. So.
Yeah, but the thing that happens here is it's almost like it was early years in football. Florida State used to come in here and get the best linebacker. Florida come up and get the guy that blocked the field goal that kept Carolina from beating them.
Please don't remind me of that, Coach.
But it's just like South Carolina kids are tough to keep. We got a state that's only got 4 million people in it, and so when you take football players. And when you get down to people who rather play D3 football than to run track. And so it's difficult to keep a kid in the state of South Carolina. We've kept one of the best kids, a Fuller kid from over at Lower Richland, and which I think it's going to be one of the top kids in the SEC, and maybe in the country, in the 100 and 60 meters, Ronald Fuller. And but we lost 3 kids last year that were major Division I runners. Virginia Tech got one, and one went all the way to Cincinnati to try to be football and track. And so it's just that one went to Miami. It was down there on the weekend when J-Lo was in the stand.
Hard to compete with Miami.
They go down.
It's hard to compete with J-Lo.
So it's just it's. But those are the excuses. Hey, you got to win in the SEC. So we go and get a kid from Kansas. And we go and we get a kid from Paris. And so the kids we have right now, I wouldn't trade them. It's a matter of us. We don't have the same number as Florida or LSU. But if we're healthy on that day, we're as good as anybody. And that's all I can hope to be, is be healthy on that day.
When does the season start?
Season doesn't get started January. And we're opening up a new facility. We're going to run 2 high school meets at home in the indoor place. Hopefully we're going to have you guys setting up and broadcasting track and field live.
It'll be cool. It'll be cool enough for us to be outside. That won't be,
No, we indoors.
Indoor? I'll definitely take that.
Indoors. We'd love to have you doing it. I'm trying to get my Chris Rogers and Coach Tanner and them to see how we can set up a track and field live on Facebook Live or something, and do something that hadn't been done. I love doing things that ain't never been done.
How about the 60 meters in the indoor? Isn't that a fast and fan favorite?
60 meters, but really people like rounding around. Indoors is such a loud and an interactive. It's not far away. You can see the faces, and track has athletes that are really fit. People like being associated and up close to track athletes. And you got everything. You got shot putters that are big and thick and that are explosive, and you got long, lean pole vaulters and high jumpers. So we get to love everybody.
There you go.
Track and field's got it all. They got big people, small people, black people, white people, people from Europe.
Unity.
We got the whole world. If you don't learn to love the world, go to a track meet.
What about this new facility? Is this a new indoor facility?
Your new indoor facility.
Okay.
It's been 8 years coming.
Oh wow!
And we're finally going to be able to open it up and open it up on a large scale.
Okay.
All the SEC schools will come into town, and we'll fill some hotels.
Jeremy Johnson on Facebook say, "Coach makes me want to get on the track, and I'm in a wheelchair. Coach, you want to send me to Paralympics?
We can put it in there, man. Hey, we put a race in for a Paralympic straightaway wheelchair run. You come by the office and then
I know Jeremy. Jeremy's actually a strong dude, so I'm pretty sure
he can be shot put. They got it.
They got everything.
That's somebody he can do it. Hey, Coach Sarge will coach it. I got Larry Judge is over there right now. He teaches it. And we had a kid here in town that we were coaching at one point, Paralympic thrower, discus thrower. And so, hey, man, thank you for being interested in the sport. This year is the World Championships.
Yeah.
And so maybe follow us all year long, and maybe we can have you excited by the time we get to next September the 27th, be World Championships.
Cool. Sounds good.
Sounds good.
All right, we'll come back. We'll do No Love. I got no love once again, and I know we talked about it earlier, but I got to go back to it. I'll tell you why that this specific coach has no love this week. So stay tuned right here on the Walk-Ons, everybody.
Remember what I said. Look at the track record. National championship.
He got a track record.
Yeah.
But there's always room for mistakes. Always room.
He could have fought for his job, hung it out, tried to win it back. He chose to move on.
Yeah.
Tell me what you gonna do to me. Confrontation ain't nothing new to me.
Everybody that's on Facebook Live, thank y'all for tuning in tonight. Once again, we're about to wrap up the show. Make sure you tune in every Tuesday night at 8 o'clock p.m. on Facebook Live. And make sure you share us on all the social platforms.
I guess that means he's not coming.
Oh, yeah, too late. That's way too late. All right, welcome back to the show, everybody. Once again, follow us on our social media on Facebook and on Twitter, and find us on our website at freethinkersradio.com. And if you got any comments or questions as we are near the end of our show, you go ahead and send those in the very last minute. We got No Love coming up right now, and keeping it real with Coach Fryer. Coach Fryer will talk about what is on his mind. I'm pretty sure that he has a lot to talk about still, even though he's been on the show for 1 hour almost.
Hey, I got it.
He doesn't run out of things to say.
I just want to know, Benedict, what's the record?
For football?
Yes, sir.
I can check right now. I have not.
Man, you got it. We cannot forget to support all athletics. Here in South Carolina, we're so fortunate. We got great high school football. We got small college football. We got opportunities for kids to get a chance to go to college. And we had a chance for fans to go out to something wholesome. We constantly are talking about what's wrong. What's wrong with America, what's wrong with the city, what's wrong with the state, but what's right. We need to highlight what's right.
Yeah.
And here we got a football team here in town that 10 years ago didn't even exist, and everybody said it wasn't going to be a good idea to have a football team. And now they got a good football team over there.
Allen playing as well. They play over at Irmo High School.
And we got to give them some attention, because kids are choosing not to go to college because they go and say, I'm not going to go to school unless I go D1. And, an education is an education.
No doubt.
When you finish with a degree in accounting or engineering or architect, we need people in the state of South Carolina with degrees. So I want us to, as we're doing media, highlight small colleges and highlight the coaches in small colleges, and because they are men that are doing and molding, men and women that are molding lives. Another thing, Don Staley's doing a heck of a job out here for the USA. They just won a tournament recently. So let's just keep some of the positive things going where young people got dreams.
True.
Yeah. And so thank you guys for going out and doing high school football.
Appreciate
and
it,
keeping it going and keeping it dreaming. And thank the sponsors that are supporting, because they are making this city a better place, because they're sponsoring a place to get kids a chance to get notoriety and get them a chance to see things. So I just want to keep it real. We can't be better unless we can see better and hear better.
Sounds good. You started kind of early, Coach. That's what you're.
I got more to say.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, as you said, Benedict, they are 3-1. They're on a 3-game winning streak, by the way. And then Allen University, they are 2-2. They lost to Clark Atlanta this past weekend, but both teams, for Benedict, who is normally don't have the winning culture for the last few years now, a couple of years, Benedict has been on that turnaround. So they make some strides in both the HBCU schools here in Columbia.
Hey, Coach Washington, both of the athletic directors are good guys, and they're hiring good people. We got a new president over at Benedict, and she came in and it's getting support from the community, trying to get people to pay forward to the university. Those are things that are important. Cross country is a big sport. Got more participants in cross country in this country than you do in football.
True.
And and it does both men and women.
Yeah.
So
And mom's real willing to sign off that permission slip a little easier than in football these days.
hey,
Yeah, that.
it takes commitment to do cross country. And
Oh, yeah.
in 90-degree heat in Columbia, South Carolina, going for a 6-mile run, I don't know.
I don't know how people can last that. Take you for a good 30 minutes, if that.
You don't get to get a water break when you go for the run.
I know we talked to Allen's coach. They start their whole process at 4 o'clock in the morning. I know. I'm not a morning person, so that have been a struggle for me.
Hey, it's discipline.
It is
It's
discipline.
something you learn that's going to carry you the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Is to do what's necessary.
Yeah.
My son tells him it's WIN. What? I don't know. Win.
What's important now?
What's important now?
There you
And
go.
so if you don't like getting up early in the morning, but it's important now, if you learn to do it, then you'll do what's necessary. What is important now? And our kids got to learn it. You can't do what I want to do.
True.
We
Yeah,
gotta
that's
do
what we
what's-
teach at Westwood High School right now. Discipline and respect.
What's important now?
Yes, right.
Hey, I don't like that. I don't want to do that. I don't eat that. I don't do that. That's a big word right now for kids from 3 years old up to 13. Because I got grandbabies, and they that word. I don't do that.
Oh, really?
You're not gonna eat nothing here.
Yeah, I mentioned this guy's name earlier, but Kyler Murray. I was just watching a little bit of the replay. He was sitting out the first series because he was late for a meeting or late for a practice. So you got to have that discipline, even though he's the star player, $1 million contract for baseball.
Hey.
You're just another guy. If you're late, you're not going to start.
And that's
that's what you need.
That's what a lot of coaches need to do. They need to make sure that if you're going to put in your rules of discipline and respect, in order to get respect, you got to give respect.
But I think you got to have communication. That surely didn't happen just by the coach implementing that. That was a meeting that was a mutual meeting that sit down and said, guys, these guys respect you. They fight for you. And how would you feel about it if I went out here and helped you lose the respect of this football team? And I'm sure that young man said, hey, coach, I made a mistake, but coach, I don't want to be treated different than others. But that starts with a relationship.
Right.
Too many people want to implement discipline without a relationship.
That's right.
Have a relationship with people before you want to bully them around.
That's right.
Even my Bible tells you that you should spare the rod, spoil the child, but it says that you should have a relationship with your children. Don't just punish people without having a relationship with them.
Yeah, discipline without love. You got to have both.
You got to be able to do it.
Hey, Sarah, forget no love. That's all right with me. We'll talk about that next week. Might be something different.
Hey guys, I tell you what, I'm enjoying the night.
Sir.
Glad to have you here, Coach.
Appreciate you coming.
But I'm just glad to hear you guys are gonna do high school football.
Oh yeah.
And that you're out there on that one. That right there is big on me. I'll do this all the time if I know you're paying it forward. That
Oh, yeah.
Kids are getting to hear their name called out.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't be embarrassed about getting recognition.
True. No, they jump it down in a heartbeat. They can find out a way to be publicized to not just the state but around the whole country too. Why not?
Well, a big thing is it draws other people to doing good things. So publicity, positive publicity, is something that encourages others to try to participate. It's a proven fact that extracurricular activities keeps people out of trouble.
Yeah.
If it's the choir club,
Right.
but you need to be involved in something other than letting a kid be bored.
Yeah. Building your socialization skills too. Not
True.
just going home and playing Xbox.
Oh, you got to get out there.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. We're near the end of our show. Once again, to end our night, first of all, thank you all for tuning in tonight on Walk-Ons Radio Show. Make sure you tune in every Tuesday night at 8 o'clock p.m. on Facebook Live and share us on your social media on Facebook and on Twitter. And then find us on our own social media on Instagram also at the Walk-Ons Radio, and visit our website at freethinkersradio.com. Guess what? I don't gotta make no phone call tonight because he's here in the building once again. Coach Fry. It's now time for Keeping It Real with Coach Fry. Coach Fry, what's on your mind?
Hey man, you guys already been taking it off my mind. It's kids. Right now we got some things going on. We got to go out here and try to feed some people all around the state of South Carolina and North Carolina. We still got to be making contributions. It ain't over. The flood left some people devastated, and we got to keep our minds up on how do we help somebody, because it could be us. And so I'm so glad to know that in the state of South Carolina last weekend, we had policemen that left this town that went down to the coast to help out. We are constantly having people from churches, and I want to encourage them to continue to do that. And if you find a way that you feel like that you have a heavy heart, hey, you can't do anything, you can give. Go online and give blood, or go online and give some money to help people, because you know what, praying for people is good, but praying without actions is dead.
That's right.
So let's keep it real. Get out here and give. Get out here and do for others, because people have done for Columbia.
Sure.
It rained on us a couple of years ago, and people came from all around the country. So let's don't forget to be givers. We get blamed for a lot of things, but South Carolinians got big hearts. So let's show our hearts and do the right thing and look after our friends that are down there in Conway and Georgetown and regions where we all got relatives and friends.
True. I know, not just here in Columbia area, but there's a lot of places around the world that's going on now. Indonesia, they had a tsunami and an earthquake at the same time, and of course, there's a lot of devastation over there.
Oh my gosh!
It's big enough to where a lot of TV networks are saying, "Hey, we need to do some type of donations for them also." So I was watching CNN today, and they had like a segment for them, like what happened, how it happened, and how people can actually help them. Because right now, if you just look at the two, you have an earthquake that happened, a big behind earthquake, you have a big tsunami coming right at you in the same area. Devastation is guaranteed to happen. So just imagine that would happen here.
Oh my gosh.
That would be like the end of the world for most.
Oh yeah, and this week we had a plane that went down in the water.
Yeah, actually, there was 2 plane crashes here in South Carolina last week.
I
A
didn't know
military plane. There was one that was a small jet that crashed too.
Well, I'm talking about the one that went down in the ocean trying to land, and only one person, water was coming in, and only one person didn't. 48 people lived, and they said one person might have died. The people came in and saved him that was watching it. So there's been some things that happened that we need to pay attention, and we need to have compassionate hearts and do things for other people. Any given moment, something can happen to us. So be givers, be kind, be humble, and be appreciative. That's the keeping it real for the week.
There you go. There we get in on that note. Still got a few more minutes left here on our show. Once again, let's go run through some stuff right quick. Once again, make sure you watch us every Tuesday night at 8 o'clock p.m. on Facebook Live. Find us on our website at freethinkersradio.com. Visit our social media on Facebook and on Twitter at the Walk-Ons Radio, and also on Instagram. And if you got any comments or questions next Tuesday, as we'll be live on next Tuesday, not right now, because we're about to go home in a minute. So next Tuesday night, when you tune in, make sure you send your comments and your questions.
Oh, man.
Yeah, we're going home because, it's been a long week. And then also this Friday, we'll be at River Bluff High School as Dust Fort takes on the River Bluff Gators. The battle of the undefeateds. I don't think nobody expected them to be undefeated at that time. Well, for River Bluff, maybe Dust Fort.
Dust Fort definitely, because Coach Knott said he thought he had his best team ever coming into the year, and he's proven it so far.
Yeah, if you're averaging over 600 points a game, then I'm pretty sure that you're doing a pretty good job.
Yeah.
I know he was very disappointed about that first game that was canceled in Charlotte.
Yeah, he was looking forward to that, playing Independence, I believe. That's one of his old schools up there, but didn't happen. But they're continuing to roll and getting the national attention, 21 in the country. And
for River Bluff, Coach Harding, he has that team turn around last year and had a losing record. This year, undefeated. Taking care of teams too, like Gilbert, Lexington, all of them. So looking forward to see what he can do against the Silverfosses at home. Yeah, they tweaked the offense. He still got a lot of option like he had last year, but he's spreading the field and throwing it a little bit more. And they said he went up to Walford, got some tips from those guys who've been doing it so long about how to spread the field and still run that option game, and it's really paid off.
Are you doing that in your flag football? We got a heck of a football coach over here. 4 years.
Yeah, tell about your flag football team. 30 seconds.
1-0-1. Got a game tomorrow night, so hopefully we can keep it rolling. Go Broncos.
You got the Cleveland Brown record, huh? 1-0-1.
Hey, man, man. I want to hear about that, man. Every week I want to hear about it.
Yeah, I got you, Coach. From everybody on the table, from Robbie, myself, and Coach Fry, I'd like to thank y'all for tuning in
Miss Fry, my friend.
Miss Fry.
Miss
She's
Fry
over
came
there.
out here and supported me tonight. She's my driver.
All right. We'd like to thank y'all for tuning in tonight. Make sure you tune in once again next Tuesday night at 8 o'clock p.m. right here on Facebook Live. And make sure you see us on our podcast on iHeartRadio, iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, SoundCloud, and there's one more I forgot, but don't worry about it. You see us. See y'all next Tuesday.